the small town of Silverbrook, nestled between misty hills, 12-year-old Eliza stood out like a raven in a flock of doves. With her jet black hair, dark eyeliner, and lace-up boots, she was the only goth in Silverbrook Middle School. Her classmates whispered about her, making cruel jokes about her love of dark poetry and Victorian dresses. But Eliza didn't mind. She had always felt more comfortable in shadows than in the glaring light of popularity. Eliza spent most of her days alone, sketching strange, beautiful things in her notebook. Wilted flowers, mysterious eyes, and crescent moons hanging low in twilight sky. Her favorite spot was the old oak tree at the edge of the schoolyard, where she could sit and listen to the wind while pretending she was in another world. One day, during lunch, she noticed a new girl sitting under her tree. The girl had curly, copper-colored hair and a nervous smile. She wore bright yellow overalls, a stark contrast to Eliza's black ensemble. "Hi," the girl said shyly. "I'm Annie. Do you mind if I sit here?" Eliza hesitated but nodded. Annie pulled out a sandwich and began eating in silence. After a moment, she glanced at Eliza's open notebook. "Wow," Annie said. "You're really good at drawing." Eliza blinked, unused to compliments. "Thanks," she muttered. "What's this one?" Annie asked, pointing to a sketch of a flower with black petals glowing faintly under a silver moon. "It's a moonflower," Eliza explained. "They only bloom at night. People think they're this strange, but they're actually really beautiful if you take the time to see them." "Kind of like you?" Eliza froze, unsure if Annie was teasing her. But the warmth in Annie's eyes made her chest feel lighter, as if someone had cracked open a window in a stuffy room. Over the next few weeks, Annie and Eliza became inseparable. They were an unlikely pair, the sunbeam and the shadow, but their differences only made their friendship stronger. Annie taught Eliza to laugh at silly things, while Eliza introduced Annie to the magic of moonlit walks and reading poetry aloud. One day, during art class, their teacher assigned a project about self-expression. Eliza, nervous but determined, painted a glowing moonflower rising from a crack in a dull grey sidewalk. When she presented it to the class, her voice trembled. "This is me," she said softly. "I've always felt out of place, like I didn't belong. But I've learned that being different doesn't mean you were broken. It just means you see the world in a way no one else can. And that's its own kind of beauty." For a moment, the room was silent. Then, to Eliza's astonishment, the class began to clap. Even the kids who used to tease her looked impressed. Annie beamed at her from the back of the room. After that day, something shifted. Eliza still dressed in black, and she still preferred the quiet company of her thoughts. But she wasn't alone anymore. She had a friend, and slowly others began to see her the way Annie did, not as a misfit, but as a moonflower blooming in her own time. And when the school year ended, Eliza looked out at the world with a little more light in her heart, knowing that being different was not a curse, but a gift waiting to be shared.